weird ass week. Weird ass week in wrestling.
I feel like a good ass week for WWE.
Good week for sure, but also a weird week. Like, we can't deny the weirdness of what's going on. And there's nothing weirder than what's going on with The Rock. That's the only place to begin. It's obviously the biggest headline grabbing piece of news that's happened in the last week. The Rock has returned and has asked the champion
Hey, no,
Cody Rhodes.
He doesn't want that. He wants your soul.
He has asked Cody Rhodes for his soul.
He wants his soul, bruh. How is he gonna get that? Exactly.
I mean, if we take it in like a literal sense, it obviously gets pretty weird, pretty fast. It gets pretty strange.
He wants his soul, bruh.
I don't think we have to.
He's looking him straight in the eye.
He was.
I want your soul.
It's not the first time that there's been a little bit of tension, a little bit of sus tension between The Rock and Cody. Obviously, the Raw after Mania, I believe it was this last year, there was the whole I'll touch yours if you touch mine, or whatever the fuck kind of thing that he was doing.
He's looking at the title of this shit.
Yeah, so there's been some weird stuff with The Rock and
So what
Cody
happened with
already.
that title too? That fool just dropped it, not.
And yeah, for real, that whole like People's Champ belt is just gone now, I guess. Because I mean, this isn't even. I get it's like not the same final boss.
It's
you know what I
different final
mean?
boss,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's the before final, like semi-final boss. Is he the semi-final boss?
This is a different form final boss, I guess you can call it, bro. It's like
I don't know.
Devil slash fucking CEO double boss.
It's very
Final boss.
strange. Like, obviously, like I think a lot of people have been kind of over dramatizing the whole like I want your soul thing as far as like what does it mean? What does it mean? Like to me, I think it's pretty obvious what he means. Like he wants him to be the corporate champ, the heel champ, doing The Rock's bidding. You know what I mean? That's all pretty obvious. I think what's more weird to me, the reason why I'm so confused by it, is like what the fuck is The Rock doing anymore? I guess that was the thing I came away from it thinking was like, yeah, it's interesting, I guess, to see where this is going to take Cody's Mania storyline and everything like that. But, like, he's coming out doing the typical final boss entrance, looking like he's going to give us kind of that heel shit. But then he starts shaking hands with kids and doing all that on the way to the ring. So now I'm thinking, okay, babyface Rock is going to come out and drop the news about WrestleMania in New Orleans and all that stuff. Cool, whatever. And then, like, throughout the promo, he's dropping these weird, like, he's singing the New Orleans Saints song and tells them to shut up while he's singing it and shit. Like, what the fuck? That's weird. You're singing the song of the town and then expecting them not to join in and sing with you.
I fucked up final boss.
And then he was like, oh, okay, you got me. That was pretty good. You guys got me. Like, okay, like, I don't understand. Are you trying to, like, be against the crowd or with the crowd? It was weird. And then he's in the middle of talking about some other shit and starts screaming about STDs and syphilis and all this other stuff. It's like, dude, what are we doing here? So I guess that's kind of what I'm here. I want to ask in your opinion, is The Rock a heel or a babyface? And then the follow-up question to that is, does it even fucking matter?
He's supposed to be a heel, but he's being a very garbage fucking heel. He's just placing himself in a story that doesn't make sense right now. And I felt the same for WrestleMania. I felt like I told you that when we talked about it last year. I'm like, bro, why is the fucking Rock in that shit, bro? Like, why is he getting involved in shit like that? What the fuck is all this shit about? But even before the Cody Rhodes shit.
I feel like it started to make itself... Like, yes, at first it was weird. It was confusing because he was just stealing the main event from Cody. But it made sense over time because The Rock fully locked into that heel mode, was going against Cody, and yeah, like joined up with Roman to kind of make it that like mountain that is impossible to climb.
It was a good thing. It was like I fucked with it 100%, but I was just like, okay, why'd you like just insert yourself into this shit, bro? And he's doing the same shit again now, bro.
Yeah, it is becoming a thing now over the last couple years. Like, okay, Mania season, The Rock is just gonna kind of jump in here somewhere.
You think he's gonna bump the numbers real quick?
I guess, yeah. I just don't understand. Last year, the final boss at least made sense. Yes, you're right. Like the first few weeks, it was weird because there was the whole, stealing the main event from Cody, and then the "We Want Cody" movement, and this weird middle ground of not.
Mm-hmm.
But the Vegas press conference, if you remember, where they did the whole like Bloodline PowerPoint presentation, and then everyone comes out, like Cody, Seth came out, interrupted the whole thing, and then I think it was either The Rock slapping Cody. Yeah,
No.
The Rock slapped Cody because Cody said some shit about The Rock's family, some
And
shit
then
like
Seth
that.
Rollins tried to go flicking.
Yeah, they all started going after each other and stuff. I think starting at that press conference and everything after that was like 10 out of 10 amazing heel work from The Rock. Like that's when he really dialed up the final boss character to another level, and everything after that was phenomenal. Like that was a great WrestleMania build. I just feel like right now, because The Rock's character is so undefined, we're in kind of that like weird period before the press conference last year where we don't really know how to feel about The Rock right now. Because yes, like the fans in attendance are always going to pop initially for The Rock because it's The Rock.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone is always excited to see The Rock, especially in person. But then he goes off in these weird directions where us fans at home that are nerds trying to break down the story and analyze this shit are confused. Who is this guy? Like, is he still? Yeah, is he still this piece of shit? Like evil?
At the end of that one fucking PLE where he just fucking came out and just fucking stared into fucking, and it was supposed to be tied into the bloodline shit, but he just.
And none of that has even been mentioned. Like now that he's even back appearing here and there, that hasn't even been talked about. At least some of the other stuff, like the debut Raw Netflix episode where people criticized that promo for not being great. At least he tried to tie it in on this last promo about, The Rock called you a great champion. The Rock thinks you're a great champion, but you could be better. All that type of shit. Like, at least in that way, they're trying to tie stuff in. But yeah, the bad blood shit from last year has just been totally, like, ignored ever since it happened. I guess I'm just really curious. I wanted to talk about it and try and figure out where we're at. It feels like we're both in a similar spot as far as...
Why?
Yeah, like, what the fuck is going on here? Like, I don't know. In a way, I guess maybe that's a good thing because it does have me pretty interested for Elimination Chamber to see... Like, I'm pretty positive that Cody's going to decline the offer. That part I'm not as skeptical about, but I'm curious to see, like, what the backlash... Like, how is The Rock going to react when Cody more than likely declines the offer and says, I'm not... Is he going to attack Cody? Is Roman going to come out and get involved? Like, where is this going to go from here? I have absolutely no idea. But I do think that, I guess, to kind of move it forward a bit, the interesting part about it is, now that the offer is out there, even though I think Cody's going to decline, I still think there's a chance that someone else ends up being The Rock's corporate champion. Maybe not the champ initially, but like kind of The Rock's guy that ends up going after Cody and maybe even ends up being the person that dethrones Cody at like SummerSlam or some shit down the line. Maybe even at Mania if they bring out someone. But I guess my question to you is, do you have anyone in mind that you would like to see be The Rock's mini final boss? Like, I've seen online a lot of people throwing out the idea of wanting to see maybe like a Cena heel turn in his final year, or CM Punk finally aligning with the corporation type of thing.
And that's the thing I've been seeing, like, on Twitter, people say, oh, like, supposedly in the fucking written script, it's going to be Cody v. John Cena and shit like that. And one of them is going to have to be heel or whatever, they're going into it and shit.
So that could be a way to get there, is if Cena, like loses at the Chamber and then starts to crash out or something, or, like, The Rock has to help him win or some shit like that, Would you want to see that? Are you interested in that?
Yeah, it would be interesting to see the two biggest baby faces on the fucking, since fucking
Hogan shit.
Yeah, man, fuck, bro.
Yeah.
So,
But
even
with
if
one of them as a heel, though, you want to see Cena like aligning with The Rock and going on this like final
who
boss.
knows, probably even Cody, bro.
See, I'm just under the assumption Cody's not aligning with The Rock. I just don't see it.
You're a fan base. You're a big fan.
Well, yeah, obviously I'm a Cody mark, but I just don't even think it just doesn't make. I see, yes, that like Cody has had the
Homelander,
weight of the
Cobra
championship
Cody.
on him, and he's been kind of slipping a bit into some more heelish tendencies lately.
You saw how he
However,
talked shit to Seth earlier today.
yes, but still, I don't. To me, I don't see it. I feel like Cody is so valuable as a babyface, and to me, you can continue to play this story of like him being in the gray area, like to just push him all the way to be aligning with The Rock and trying to get to Mania with Cody as a heel when we're already about 2 months out from Mania. I feel like that's a bit much. I don't know. To me, it makes more sense. And to me, Cody is at his best when he's going against that insurmountable, crazy villain heel character, like up against a Roman or a Rock kind of guy. Or KO when he was going crazy, crashing out, leading up to the Rumble. I think that's peak Cody. So I do feel like we end up with The Rock potentially having someone else be his kind of surrogate, his kind of guy. I'm thinking, obviously, Roman makes sense. Bloodline shit. Understandable.
Jacob, maybe.
Jacob would be an awesome choice, but I don't think they're going to pull the trigger on something like that. I get where people are coming from with the Punk stuff and the Cena stuff, that it would be really interesting. And I wouldn't hate it, but I don't think it's the best choice. Can I tell you what interests me the most? And it's a little bit left field. But if I had my choice of anyone to be the final boss's kind of advocate, wrestler, whatever you want to call it, I think there's a really interesting story to tell with Drew McIntyre.
No. He would not work with the bloodline, bro.
And that's why it's so fascinating to me, is
He would
because he's
not
been
work with the
so
bloodline,
it's the
baby.
whole, this is where I come. I know it sounds crazy, but just let me pitch you and see if I could change your mind. Can't beat him, join him. Not just join him in the sense that like, oh, I'm aligning with Roman and I'm joining the bloodline. Fuck all that. Skip that level. This is now the final boss, who's not just, yes, aligned with the bloodline, which he has his own beef with, but it's also the board member at TKO, as he said in these promos, like the most powerful man in WWE. Drew McIntyre being the kind of always forgotten, always second place like character in WWE that he's been over the last few years. Someone who's built his whole persona and identity around wanting to be that top guy, feeling like he deserves it, but that everyone else is to blame and screwing him over. He's the guy who would go back on all his previous morals and say, yeah, I know I said fuck the bloodline, all this other shit, but now this guy's offering me a free pass to the top. I'm going to take it because I deserve it and I've been fucked over all these times. Like, I know it's wild, but because of how good Drew is, I feel like he could flip it in a way that's like, I tried destroying these people for so long, no one else would help me, no one else would listen, so now I'm going to join and make it even worse than it's ever been, and now I'm on top and you're all going to have to deal with me. I feel like that could be a really interesting story. Part of the reason why I'm pitching it is because Drew McIntyre is in kind of no man's land right now with his story leading into Mania. There's not really much going on. And I think that he's had just such a phenomenal last like 12 to 18 months. And to kind of burn that momentum at this Mania would be unfortunate for me. And I think that everyone else of these big, massive babyface names that are being mentioned, there's pretty easy ways, in my opinion, to kind of shoehorn all of them into Mania and no one's going to complain. Because they're all very much top guys with a lot of cachet with the audience. I think Drew is kind of still in a place, as great as he is, with all due respect, that he still needs something to kind of solidify him with the more casual fans. coming off of that Punk feud last year. And I think him already is one of the top heels in the company and elevating himself that next level up by aligning with The Rock. I think it'd be really interesting. I was like almost on the train of Drew winning the Rumble.
Oof.
And, you know, like we've talked about Drew a lot on this show throughout this whole year for the first couple months of 2025. And so far, unfortunately, I have to say it's been a rough year for Drew McIntyre. And I guess that's why part of me is just like hoping that we can find a way to get him into something that feels like it matters, because I just know for a fact, give Drew McIntyre the ball, good things happen. You know, like he's one of those guys. And so I just want to see him in that position. I think it'd be interesting. Yeah, man. Mm-hmm. Scottish Warrior and the final boss. Why not? Why fucking not? We had a really strong episode of Monday Night Raw tonight. I feel like a lot of good matches, good segments. And it was capped off by a really great tag team match. By the way, just want to shout out the crowd also in Cincinnati. That lit. Whole show, they were on fire. We did a PLE in Cincinnati ASAP. That shit was awesome. One of the best Raw crowds I've seen in a minute. Like, it felt like a PLE crowd, which is crazy because it's just a random episode of Raw. Anyways, that tag team match, especially with that crowd, felt so epic. All the near falls, the interferences, the referee shenanigans, all that shit. And then we finally get to Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez are your new women's tag team champions.
Out of fucking nowhere.
Out of nowhere. Of course, Naomi eats the pin, as per. But I'm going to be honest. When I saw that they were advertising this match, like, it made sense with the whole feud that had been brewing between...
With the whole Jade Cargill or whatever.
All of that stuff.
Supposedly, they did it, supposedly.
But I never felt like there was a chance they won the titles, I'm going to be honest. It's just one of those things where it's like, you know, it'll be on Raw, decent little tag team title match, but you just don't expect a title change on a random, not super promoted match. Like, they didn't even have, like, any promos leading up. Like, obviously, yes, like, there's been that feud building going into it, but the tag team title match itself was just kind of there. And then they won. So that feels pretty significant to me. It feels like they're not going to do some shit like that for no reason. So I'm looking at this title win, and I'm asking myself, why? Why now? Why put the belts on Liv and Raquel? Maybe more interesting question to ask, why take them off of Bianca and Naomi at this time? I'm wondering if you have any thoughts or opinions on that.
Probably an interesting plot twist here.
I feel like it has to obviously be something coming up in the very near future with Jade.
Some foreshadowing shit.
I would think maybe Elimination Chamber. It just... So where my head goes to, what I started to think about, literally, like, almost as soon as the match ended, I'm collecting my thoughts, and one of the things that's hitting me is, it would make sense to take the belts off of Bianca and Naomi to start building that feud with Jade, if it's going to be one of them two involved with it. Because if they're also the tag team champs, but then they get involved with this feud with Jade, it becomes a similar situation like you had with the Judgment Day last year.
Where, like, they just have to drop it or some shit, yeah.
Where they're beefing with Damian Priest and Rhea, the whole Terror Twins situation. But then Finn and JD were also the tag team champs. And so, because they're in another feud that's taking up TV time doing this other shit, they never have time to do any tag team feuds. You know what I mean? So it feels like you take the belts off of Bianca and Naomi, A, to stir up a little bit of a little tension between the two of them, but then B, more importantly, to free up the tag belts off of them so that they can now get involved into a new storyline, which I would have to imagine is going to be something to do with Jade coming back and going after as I predicted, Naomi. And yeah, I feel like that's where we go from there. Maybe we get a triple threat at Mania, some sort of one-on-one match depending on who Bianca decides to side with, however that goes. But I guess to me, this was kind of the bat signal of like, hey, shit's about to turn up with this Jade storyline. I know you guys thought we forgot it because we didn't mention it for like a month and a half, but we're back, and we're gonna start bringing this shit back.
So still, what happened to Jade Cargill?
And we're still wondering what happened because honestly, I'm like 1,000% sure, if anything, it wasn't Liv and Raquel.
Yes, no.
Just the way that they've talked about it, like obviously when the video shit happened, we still didn't believe
I guess you
it.
could say it to fuck with them.
But then, yeah, ever since then, just the way they've been acting about it, nothing has made me feel like, yeah, it was them. Like, nah, I'm not hearing it. So, I mean, yeah, like I said, to me, this is like the moment that let me know, hopefully, we are finally going to get some movement on this storyline. And I'm thinking it's going to be involving Bianca and Naomi, because they now don't got anything else to worry about. They don't got tag team titles to defend. It's time to get them working on some other shit. And I think it's going to be them trying to figure out what the fuck with Jade. I would love to see at some point in the women's Elimination Chamber match coming up this weekend a moment where it's Bianca and Naomi teaming up, going up against whoever in the match. And then just out of nowhere, a storm is coming and just attacks the ring, somehow finds a way to break into the chamber and just stares them both down, and then goes after Naomi, just starts beating her down. I just think it'd be really awesome. I think the hype would be there, but we will see how it all plays out. But I think it's going to be happening soon. I think that's a safe prediction. We'll see.
Fuck.
Luis, we have talked about it. We've vibe checked it. We have predicted who was going to be in it. We have done just about everything there is to do when it comes to the Elimination Chamber. It is time to finally predict these fucking matches, because this is going to be a great PLE. I'm liking the way it's shaping up. I'm excited about almost all of the matches.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
I think that this is going to be a really strong show. Let's just go ahead and jump right into it. We will start with the match that I am admittedly not as excited for, because I feel like we're kind of running in place. Tiffany Stratton and Trish Stratus going up against Nia Jax and Candice LeRae.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, everything to do with Tiffany is for later down the line, her and Charlotte. That's all kind of set in stone. So this match really is just kind of this weird kind of filler. Obviously, Trish, Canadian, hometown shit, kind of trying to pop the crowd, I guess, bring out a legend. Nia and Candice and Tiffany have had this whole storyline going on for a while, ever since Tiffy was holding the Money in the Bank. Like, it's been a long time that those three have had a thing going.
And Tiffy's babyface, supposedly, now.
But, yeah, like, it's just, I guess, yeah, it's one of the things that helps solidify Tiffany as a babyface, which, you know, for the casual audience, great. But the match overall, I just don't see how it's going to have a massive impact in anything going. Like, it just feels like it's there to be there. I'm sure it'll be fun. Great. It'll get, like, a good crowd reaction, I would assume, because you've got Trish in there, Canadian, and the Tiffany obviously is just super over. But I don't know. I guess it just feels like I said, running in place a bit. Like, I just don't know why this had to be put on the show. I wish that with Triple H's creative, which gets a lot of praise and a lot of it's justified, I wish that on a show like this, which is such a huge, huge show, literally the last PLE before Mania, that every match would have felt like it was there for a reason.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, this is kind of the odd one out for me. all that being said, we got to pick a winner. I don't know if it's that difficult to... I feel like it's not going to be Naya and Candace. I can say that.
Tiffy time.
Let me just put that on there.
Church time.
Tiffy and Tiffy. Yeah, I figured we'd be in agreement on that one. It's just, it's not, you know,
Filler.
it's not that deep.
Filler.
Yeah. Yeah.
PLE.
Now, what's crazy is besides that match, we've got heat. We go from like a here to like a fucking here instantly.
Yeah.
Because we have what is easily a WrestleMania caliber, maybe even WrestleMania main event caliber, depending on who you're asking, level match here with Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens in an unsanctioned, I don't even know if I could call it a match. I kind of want to call it a war. So, I have been loving the build to this match.
Mm-hmm.
I have been loving this shit.
On this shit.
It's been super interesting. Obviously, they've been little nudge, wink, winks at their older shit that they've done in the past. It hit a different level, though.
Mm-hmm.
Which is kind of the thing that some of their older feuds were arguably missing, was the outside of the ring stuff.
Oh my god. Bro.
Like their Ring of Honor shit and stuff like that. The matches themselves are phenomenal, and there are some really good promos in there, but the WWE promo style allows you to go a lot further than any other wrestling promotion except, I guess, AEW. So, the places that they've been able to take this in the last week, on SmackDown, we have Kevin Owens responding to the challenge, because obviously it was just Sami Zayn talking to Adam Pearce on the previous episode of Raw.
Match?
Asking for the match, offers the unsanctioned match to Sami. He says he wants it. So then the next SmackDown, we get Kevin Owens' response, and it's another one of these cell phone selfie video things. And initially, it just looks like he's outside again, like in some random area, like all of them have been. Mm-hmm. The background, honestly, was insignificant to me at first. I wasn't even paying attention.
Like behind like a bush or some shit.
It's just the same shit that he's been doing, just in front of some wall somewhere, whatever. This is the regular Kevin Owens promo at this point, the way he's been doing things over the last month or two. And then he starts talking about family and Sammy's family. And just so I can walk you through my thought process, because this all happened quickly. Like, he starts mentioning the family, and just before he pans the camera over, I start thinking, like, damn, he's even mentioning Sammy's family. That's pretty crazy. Like,
tough, yeah.
He's pretty private about a lot of that stuff. Like, he's not one of these dudes who's, like, you know, he doesn't have, like, a wrestler wife or anything. Like, you know, he's a family dude, and I feel like he takes all of that stuff very seriously, very personal guy. He comes across that way, to me at least. So just the fact that Kevin was even mentioning that stuff, I was like, damn, like, he's going pretty deep. And then the camera starts to pan, and he's filming through the window, and we see Sammy with his wife and his child in there.
That shit was fucking...
And I shit you not, dude.
That was cinema, bro.
I had to pick my jaw up off of the floor.
That was cinema, bro.
I was absolutely stunned. I was getting visions of, like, Brian Pillman back in the Attitude Era pulling the pistol out and shit. Like, this is the type of shit that you just don't see in wrestling that often.
Kevin Owens out of his fucking mind, bro.
And the remarkable thing about it is it doesn't feel forced, like they're just trying to do some edgy shit for the sake of it. If you're really invested in this storyline and you know how deep the shit goes, this is one of those cases where it's, like, not justified, but you can mentally, like, understand how someone going through the things that in kayfabe KO has gone through would be, like, pushed to a point of doing such fucking mentally insane stuff. You know what I mean? And so I loved it so much because it showed how dark Kevin was willing to go. It showed how personal this feud was to both of them. Like, it really elevated this shit in a way that I feel like it didn't even necessarily need, but as soon as it happened, I was just like, holy shit, like, this is next level. But that wasn't even it, Luis. So that was on SmackDown. Then we get this most recent episode of Raw. where Sami Zayn is being interviewed and he gets asked about that whole segment, everything that happened, and Sami tells us that he went to Kevin's house and had a little chat with Kevin Owens' mother.
Mama.
And was over there to do, he said he didn't even know what. He didn't know what his intentions were.
He was thinking a little violently.
It was such a great flip because I was assuming he was going to go off, be so offended, you know, babyface the situation out. Like, I can't believe you did that to me, blah, blah, blah. Kevin, you've crossed the line, all this shit. But what he really showed was, no, it really is this deep. Like, even I am kind of going to a place that I don't love where I'm going. This is hitting us both in, like, a dark way. And this match is going to go to a place that neither of us will be the same.
Like, you're not ready and I'm not ready, but let's fucking do it.
The build to this match, especially after this most recent episode of Raw and SmackDown, I'm so ready. I'm so fucking ready. I have a feeling we'll get another probably little tease from KO on this episode of SmackDown. Maybe even a face-to-face, potentially, on the go-home SmackDown this week. But the match itself, man, I said it when we talked about it on the last episode of the pod, that I think that this is going to be a match of the year candidate. And I after this last week of programming, I feel even more confident in saying that Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens will be one of the best WWE matches of the year, one of the best wrestling matches of the year, and one of the best matches of both of their careers, potentially. Like, this is going to be huge, man. And with that Canadian crowd, especially, the fact that it's a hometown. So like, that's why I've really come around on, like, we've talked about it. Originally, I did want it to be on WrestleMania for the mystique of all of that. But I think this is the right call. I do think this is the right call.
Lit, bro.
That hometown crowd, I really hope they get behind it in a big way. And it's like what we saw in this episode of Raw literally today, that if you have a crowd that's really behind a match, it can really elevate shit to a different level. Like, that changes things a lot. And so I have high hopes for this match. I really, really do. But now is the difficult part. I don't know who I think is going to win.
Wow.
You know, money on the table. I'm going to give it to KO.
Oof. That's interesting.
I'm going to give it to KO because where his character's at is so fascinating. And him kind of taking out his best friend continues that spiral and can send him further into the madness. I feel like Sami's character can eat pins. And that's kind of what Sami Zayn can do in WWE. And he'll just always still be Sami Zayn. I feel like that just makes sense, and then you can build towards something big for KO, and Sami can still get into that spot somehow as the underdog and have a big moment just like he did at last year's Mania. I feel like that's how I want to see it play out. But I'm like, still, like, I'm on the fence. Like, I'm certainly not upset if Sami wins. I'm very much on the fence about it, but I think I'm leaning more towards a KO win.
That's wild, but I feel it.
How are you feeling? Where are you at with it?
I feel like honestly they're gonna give it to Sami, bruh.
Yeah?
Yeah, bruh.
Walk me through it. Why Sami?
I feel like KO's real gonna put them through the fucking shits. Like, they're both gonna be fucked up.
For sure.
I feel like this is gonna be a match where, like, they're both out probably for like a few months and shit like that.
I wouldn't mind that if they really sell the match like how they did with Drew and Punk after Hell in a Cell.
I feel it's gonna be that type of deal, but I feel like Sammy's real gonna do like that last fucking probably. He's probably gonna hit the pile driver on him and shit like that on a fucking ladder or some shit, bro. It's probably gonna be some crazy shit like that, and he's probably gonna hit the fucking 1, 2, 3, bro. And fucking KO is probably gonna be fucking just probably broken neck or fucking up. I'm not hoping that, of course, but yeah, bro.
Kayfabe. So where does Sami go from there after he wins the match? And KO as well. I'm curious, like, kind of how you... Because, like, how I said, I feel like you can see where Sammy goes, if he
It's
loses, he's just still
interesting
the
to see because
underdog.
I fucking Karrion Cross is like trying to fuck with Sammy a lot, even though half of this
This
fucking
is
squad
true.
is gone and shit like that.
This is true. Well, yeah, no, bro is kind of flying solo now. It's
No,
just
he's
him and
not.
his girl,
Yeah, the
obviously,
single
but
still,
yeah.
yeah.
Nah, he don't got his boys with him, though. So you think it could be maybe Sammy and Cross going into Mania? So you think that could be a Mania feud? Or are you just saying that's where Sammy... Like, because that's kind of what I'm wondering is where do we go building into Mania out of this match?
I don't think they're gonna be Mania, bro.
You don't think either are going to make it to Mania?
I don't think so, bro. We'll see.
Like, selling the injury or just, like, don't make it on the show, but are, like, still on TV here and there?
Injury, probably. Something injury.
I could get behind it potentially just because of how packed this Mania card is gonna be with the Cena retirement stuff and all that other shit. Like, there could be a pretty packed card. Maybe it makes it easier to book if you just kind of pull two of those guys, put them on ice just for the year, and kind of let this be their Mania moment in a weird way. But I'm 50-50 on it. I'm 50-50 on it because obviously, like, I do still want to see these guys out there. I'm a fan of both, but that's a way that you can make it work. Like, I could potentially get behind that depending on how it plays out long term. But that's an interesting. Okay, okay. So you're saying long term, post Mania, after they come back from injury, Sammy and Karrion Cross. What about Kevin Owens? Does he come back as a heel still? Does he come back kind of reformed? Like, would that end Kevin Owens' heel run? Would that kind of shake him out of his shit, make him realize he's been being a fucking asshole?
I don't know, man.
Or does he come back an even bigger piece of shit?
Even a bigger piece of shit. I feel like he's probably gonna take out Sammy for like a few months. He's probably gonna do some shit where he fucks him up and shit.
So you think they come back from injury and then he takes out Sammy again and puts Sammy back on the shelf? That's where you lose me. I could see them both being hurt, like, kind of through Mania to sell the match. But then KO coming back just to hurt Sammy again is crazy. Because then you've got Sammy out for, like, half the year, basically. Can't have Sammy out for, like, 6 months. Just for kayfabe.
That's heel KO, bro.
Nah.
He's a piece of shit, bro.
I feel like you overdid it with a few months. Maybe, like, a couple weeks. Like, that's more realistic WWE, bro.
Okay.
That's how long they be out when they be hitting the power drivers on each other and shit. Maybe something like that. So then you just think we get back to KO and Sammy again?
Probably. That was probably the fucking one. The fucking round twos and shit.
Okay. I like your pitch for the match. Your pitch for everything after, I'm a little more suspicious of. But
Amen.
I think that the match itself almost, I don't want to say this because it kind of jinxes it, but it's like, it almost can't miss as a match. Just because of how good the build has been and how good these guys both are.
And like you said, they're a fucking hometown, bro. They're gonna fucking
That's
cook,
what
bro.
I'm saying. Like, it's just, it all just, the stars have aligned for what should be an instant classic. We will see, but Sammy and KO, I cannot fucking wait, man. I cannot fucking wait.
El Generico. The fucking was fucking.
I saw some people floating that idea that it would be cool if KO came out with, like, the mask on or, like, with some merch or something like that. If that fucking happens, I'm gonna lose my shit. That'd be the coolest thing ever. Coolest fucking thing ever. But we'll see. I don't know, bro, because that guy El Generico, I'm pretty sure he's retired.
I think that fool died, actually.
That's what I heard, is that he's low-key, like, dead and retired at the same time. So, R.I.P.
That fool got diabetes off maple syrup, I heard.
Yeah, bro. That shit's crazy. It's such a shame that he never got to meet that full Sami Zayn. I heard that El Generico really inspired that full Sami Zayn, but
Wow.
they never crossed paths. What you gonna do? Cold world. Wear a coat.
Before I go.
You feel me? Time to get into the big ones here. Let's start off with the women's chamber. I will go ahead and run you through the competitors just to get everyone refreshed. We have Liv Morgan, new tag team champion. Bianca Belair, former tag team champion, Alexa Bliss, Bailey, Naomi, former tag team champion, and Roxanne Perez. That is the field for the Women's Elimination Chamber match. The winner of this match will be facing presumably Rhea Ripley. They're trying to sell the Io Sky match on this last episode of Raw. They're like, oh, it still kind of hangs in the balance. In my heart, I'm hoping that we still find a way to like maybe make it a triple threat between Rhea, Io, and whoever wins the chamber or something like that. I think there could maybe be interference in the match or something that maybe makes it to where Io has a case that like, oh, she still deserves a shot. Something like that.
It leads to that person who interfered wins the fucking chamber or something.
Well, the chamber match is before, so it'd be like the winner of the chamber maybe comes out to interfere, something like that. I could see that, but we'll see. Obviously, that we will talk about later if it does happen. Women's chamber match itself. Where are we going, man? I feel like, honestly, there's no clear favorites in this match. Like, there's a pretty even field, barring maybe a couple of people. Like, I don't really think there's a super high chance that Bailey wins just the way that her kind of stories have been going lately. It would just feel really out of nowhere. And with all due respect to Naomi, she's kind of the Robin in that tag team and everything like that just ended.
Yeah.
If anyone from that tag team was gonna win, it would more than likely be Bianca. So what that really leaves us with is Liv Morgan, Bianca, Alexa, and Roxanne. To me, as like your potential winners. And I think there's kind of like a valid case to be made for any of the four. Some stronger than others. Like, if we whittle it down to those four, what do you feel about that when we look at just those four? Who sticks out to you as like the favorites from that group? Or as people that you just think don't really have as much of a chance out of Liv, Bianca, Alexa, and Roxanne?
Oof. Liv, Bianca, Roxanne, and who else?
Alexa.
Honestly, too soon for Alexa, honestly. I feel like she's probably be too soon. I should probably eliminate it somewhere before her, but officially be like last three, maybe.
I just feel like she hasn't been like fully reintroduced yet.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's fair, yeah. It does feel a little early.
Probably some bullshit's gonna happen to Liv.
I feel like that makes sense. Just why are we gonna run back Liv versus Rhea? We've done it to death over the last year. It's not that like we can never do it again. It's just we gotta wait.
And I feel like Roxanne's fairy tale little run is gonna continue for this one.
Yeah?
I feel like, bro, she's been cooking lately, bro.
Between her and Bianca?
Yup. She's been facing all the big ones so far and shit.
Yeah. No, she's been looking strong so far. Every time they've brought her up recently for the main roster stuff, they've been presenting her as a big deal. I do think that that's a very realistic possibility. I'm gonna have to agree with you on that one. As much as I could understand why Bianca would be like the favorite and the more popular choice. Huge star, her versus Rhea would be an epic match, and like I certainly wouldn't be upset if Bianca won it all. It's not like a thing where I think it would be the wrong choice. It wouldn't be anything like that. I just think that Bianca's gonna end up being tied up in everything with Jade, and just makes more sense to go in that direction. Like, I think I'd rather see like a Bianca versus Jade or even a triple threat with Naomi in there. I think that would be really interesting versus having Bianca versus Rhea this year. Like, you could still get to Bianca versus Rhea down the line at WrestleMania at some point and make that a big match.
Yeah.
But this momentum that Roxanne is on, you only get one chance to like debut her to the fans, and she's been just doing nothing but going up this year. If she loses, that kind of stifles that momentum a bit. I feel like this would be this would be a great way to like really cement that push and bring her up to the main roster and like, okay, you're here now. And even if she loses at Mania, I still think it's a great spot for her to be in and establishes her as a threat on the main roster. And it can continue either that rivalry going forward, or she just stays atop the women's division somewhere in the main event picture. But like, it's a win-win scenario no matter who actually wins the match at Mania to me if you get Roxanne in there. And so for that, like, I'm gonna have to agree with you. I think that Roxanne Perez is the strongest pick for the women's chamber. Yeah, man.
We'll see, man. Interesting.
I know it's kind of crazy that both
man.
of us are going for like the recent NXT call up here, but I
she's just been cooking, and the push they're giving her, bro, is like
it just all makes sense. Like the timing of it all lines up. It feels like this could be the moment to like really strap the rocket to her back and see how far you could take this thing. Let's do it, dude. Fuck it.
Hey, man. Definitely gonna shout out one of my favorite moments from her recently when she like fucking Nikki Bella was doing the push-ups and then she started doing them and shit like that.
In the Rumble, yeah, that was awesome, bro. No, exactly. Like she's shown those like good character moments in the matches. Like I feel like she's shown that wisdom kind of beyond her years as far as just being an entertainer in the ring. Like it's not just all about the moves; it's about everything else that goes along with it.
Yo.
And she's got it for sure. She's got it. Let's see it, bro.
Yo.
Roxanne to win the Rumble. Fuck it.
The Rumble?
Oh, shit. The Chamber. Fuck it. And the Rumble.
Fuck it, man. Run it back.
Run it back. Next year's. This is the big one. This is the big one right here. Cody Rhodes is awaiting his challenger for the WWE Championship. Top babyface in the company. So whoever wins this chamber match, like this is the match for Mania. The stakes could not be higher. The competitors in the field are going to be Seth freaking Rollins, Damian Priest, Logan bitch-ass Paul,
somehow,
Drew McIntyre, CM Punk, and
Juan Cena.
Juan Cena. That is a pretty stacked field, bar one. But regardless, you know, chambers tend to have that type of stuff. I've gone back and watched some of the chamber matches for fun recently, and there's usually an oddball. That just tends to happen. So, you know, this year our oddball happens to be a YouTuber. Is what it is. Is what it is. But of the actual competitors...
It was the same last year.
Exactly. No, exactly. So, of the actual competitors, the 5, like, true contenders that we have in this match, it gets tough, man. Like, there's so many different directions that this could all go. This is a fascinating elimination chamber to me in the same way that the Rumble was fascinating because the roster's just so stacked with main event players on the men's side right now.
It's such a good era right now, bro.
It is such a peak era. And because of that, you just have so many guys that you're like, yeah, I can see it. Yeah, I can see it. Yeah, I can see it. Like, everyone besides Logan in this match is a realistic, like, I could kind of see it. Even Damian, as much as that might seem far-fetched, like, it's not impossible. It's not impossible. And that's what's so great about this current era of WWE is so much feels like it could happen. Like, shit like Jay winning the Rumble, as controversial as it was, it's exciting that that type of random shit could come out of nowhere. So with that in mind, looking at this field, it's really tough to break down what I feel like is going to happen. As much as I was just saying that Damian is a potential winner, that's one of the first guys that I kind of rule out. Just as much as it's possible, the way that they book him is so strong. But it's just a lot to throw at him right now. It doesn't feel like that's where... It doesn't feel like that's the direction that we're going to be going. So I could kind of rule out Damian pretty early. It gets fucking tricky from there, man. It gets tricky. It gets tricky. Because you could convince me, like, very legitimately that any of the other 4 win, and I'm like fully in agreement.
Wait, who are you on down to right now?
Cena, Punk, Drew, and Seth.
You think Logan Paul's gonna get eliminated early?
I'm not necessarily saying he's gonna get eliminated early. I'm talking about potential winners.
Okay.
I don't think Logan or Damian. I don't see them winning the match.
Okay.
And that's left me with these 4 that I can very much see winning the match for different reasons. So when we boil it down to that, how do you feel?
You said Seth freaking Rollins, Juan Cena, CM Punk,
And Drew McIntyre.
Definitely gotta. Honestly, I feel like Seth's gonna get fucked by Drew.
Okay. That's something I could see.
There's probably gonna start some type of beef there or some shit again.
Something like that, yeah.
It's definitely probably gonna be a rematch, probably from Mania last year, some type of shit.
I don't know about a Mania rematch, but I could just see something along the lines of Seth getting fucked over by either Drew or Punk, something like that. Just kind of the general vibe of Seth getting fucked over, I could see that, yeah. Because it feels like a good way to get Seth out of it and get some sort of feud going forward. Maybe even Logan fucking over Seth. And just to get Seth out of there and have it be heel heat for Logan. I could see something like that happening. Okay, so you've now got it down to Cena, Punk, and Drew.
I feel they're probably gonna do some dope shit where like fucking Punk fucking does the go to sleep or some shit. And then the fucking Cena hits the 5 knuckle shuffle and probably fucking pins fucking Drew or some shit like that. So it can be the both of them or some shit at the end. Or
some big combo shit. Okay.
Some cool shit like that just to show like, oh, they're the fucking OGs and shit like that.
Okay.
Just have a little throwback moment and shit.
So you think we boil it down to Cena and Punk as your final 2?
Yep.
So let me just interject and say that if this does happen and we get to Cena and Punk as the final 2, I don't care what happens from there. I don't give a fuck. I truly don't. Because, it's great no matter... I said this, I think, during the Rumble prediction video. Where it was like, if we could just get to somehow the final 2 being Cena and Punk, I could die happy.
I definitely feel that this situation is a lot more realistic.
I'm hoping that it's more on the table now. And I thought it was really likely going into the Rumble, but apparently not. But... now more than ever, it feels like that now is the time to give us that big
time is now, bro.
Punk scene. Yeah, the time is now. Fuck, how perfect. So if we get to that, which I think we're both in agreement that no matter how we get there, that is the destination we want to arrive at, is the Punk Cena stare down. The fuck happens next, Lise? In your fantasy booking prediction mind? Where do we go from there? They have the stare down. They both look at the Mania sign. And then what happens?
We're going to get a good fucking probably 15, 20 minutes. Probably the best scene.
You think that long?
I hope so.
I would love to see it. I don't know if it's realistic, but I'd love to see it. If Cena was talking the
shit that he was talking during that press conference, that's what I want to see.
That would be honestly epic if it just ended up giving us a mini single. That's not even a mini, just a full-length singles match at the end of the match between Punk and Cena.
Almost like a Hell in a Cell type of deal too, because
that would be insane. That would be legitimately insane. But then who goes over?
Cena.
Really?
I think it's Cena's time.
Cena versus Cody at Mania?
Nope.
Okay. Is Cena the final boss's champ? Does he take the corporate rock offer?
I don't know. Maybe Cody. Who knows?
So you think heel Cody face Cena main event night 2 Mania 41?
Mm-hmm.
That's insane. I don't think that's possible.
Yeah.
I think the more likely option would be reversed and heel Cena face Cody.
I don't know.
I just don't see a heel Cody existing in 2025.
It might be a fucking...
I'm not saying I'm fully against it. I just don't think it's likely to happen at all. I disagree that is a likely possibility.
It might be a thing where this is where Cody has to rebuild and shit like that.
Yeah.
Because he supposedly has everything right now. And what if he turns his back on everything? Fucking WrestleMania happens. Boom, boom, boom. Cena wins. And fucking, he has fucking nothing now because The Rock is just gonna dip again on him.
Can I walk you through how I want to see it play out?
Hmm.
Because this shit it stretches out a bit. But let me walk you through my fantasy book. Final two, Cena and Punk. Punk beats Cena. Cena crashes out even harder. After the same way after he lost the Rumble, he started to kind of show that. Crashes out even harder. He's the guy who goes to The Rock, tries to align with The Rock and convince him. And imagine the cinema of the segment. Cena and The Rock in the ring together. Cena convincing The Rock
or some shit.
that he's the guy that will be The Rock's corporate champion and elevate the WWE, blah, 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 all that stuff. The Rock and Cena align. Final Boss uses his TKO magical powers to insert Cena into the Mania main event. And we have a triple threat, heel Cena versus Punk versus Cody. Punk still wins. Pins heel Cena. Heel Cena realizes that he's become a bad guy that he never wanted to become, that he was going about it the wrong way, that loss made his eyes open, and we get back to face Cena. Renewed face Cena. I'm sorry face Cena. And we get super face Cena versus champion Punk SummerSlam. Because they're trying to make SummerSlam a big deal. This is the first year of 2-night SummerSlam.
Yeah.
And we get night 2 of SummerSlam main event. Cena beating Punk for the championship.
Wow.
I think that'd be fucking awesome. I know that's a lot. I know I just put a lot on the table. But I think it'd be fucking awesome.
Bro. I wasn't even thinking about
I went deep. I went deep. I went far out.
I respect it.
How do you feel about it?
I respect it, bro. But
you like it?
I like it, but I still think it might be.
You think I'm wrong?
No, I just think it might be the Cody rebuild.
So you think Cody's gonna go heel?
Yeah.
You're confident on that?
I think so.
Percentage it for me.
Like 70.
70% chance that Cody says yes to The Rock at Elimination Chamber.
Yeah.
You're wild. You're wild. I'd give it tops, like maximum chance I'd give it 20%. Maximum. I think it's like maybe possible, but like almost certainly not. I'd maybe even give it 10.
Oh shit.
I'd maybe even give it 10%, man. Shit. I just don't see a heel Cody. This is now almost even more interesting than if any of our match predictions are gonna come out, because we're so on opposite sides of this Cody thing. And I can't wait to be
See
right.
what happens.
Oh, I'm gonna be right.
That's what's gonna happen. Shit, man. I'm the writer for WWE. The fuck.
This fool thinks he has the script. This shit.
I do, bro.
So, just to confirm, you have Cena winning.
Yeah.
And going up against a heel Cody in the main event of WrestleMania.
Yeah.
And I have Punk winning.
Yeah.
And then ending up in a triple threat against heel Cena and Cody.
That would be a fire ass fucking take. I would be like so sad. My inner child.
Yeah.
The fuck, man.
No, part of me is also like kind of even almost angry at myself for pitching it. Because part of me doesn't want to see heel Cena. But, I mean, we talked about it earlier. Ideally, my choice for The Rock's guy is Drew McIntyre. But, if I'm just isolating it and looking at this men's chamber match, it feels like that's a good way to get out of this where everyone still gets their big Mania match and we still get to tell a good story along the way without, having to do too much, having to fuck too much up. It'll be interesting. I think the biggest challenge there was, will people actually boo Cena? I don't know. He'd have to go, really heel. We'll have to see, but I just think that that's an interesting way to see the match play out, man. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, CM Punk winning the title at Mania. I'm still holding on to the dream of somehow, some way, we get to CM Punk winning the title at Mania this year. That's the dream. Fuck it. Excited for Chamber. It's gonna be a good one.